Hey guys, my name is Matsumo, and today we've learned some really cool new details about the new zombie mode coming to Rainbow Six Siege. I gotta admit, the more and more I learn about this mode, the more I get excited about it because it seems like Ubisoft is going all out. One worry that I had was that this was going to be something that was tacked on, but everything that we've seen so far and the information that they're giving, that doesn't seem to be the case whatsoever. And so one thing that we learned today is there's going to be 5 different types of infected. The 2 that they describe in the article is that one is going to be an exploding monstrosity and the other one is a gigantic behemoth. And so right off the bat, we know that there's already going to be a fair amount of variety in the combat itself. This isn't just slow-moving zombie and ones that run around. You're going to have to identify what you're going against based off of, I'm assuming, their look. I think they're going to have a different look to them. And based off of that, you're going to have to change your strategy because they're going to bring something unique to the table. That's really exciting. What I wasn't expecting, though, is that they're also going to take advantage of destruction. That gigantic behemoth might run through a wall and try to flank you. Of course, the exploding monstrosity, if it gets near a wall and explodes, I imagine it's also going to take care of that wall, which opens up a different flanking route for them to hit you from. I think the reason why I'm so excited about that destructibility is that that's one of my favorite things about Rainbow Six Siege, and to see Ubisoft expand upon that idea and allow the AI to actually use it and manipulate the map into their favor, and you're going to have to react to that destruction happening around you, is really, really cool. Now, one thing I am a bit skeptical on, though, is are they making any improvements to their AI? While I enjoy playing T-Hunt every once in a while, I gotta admit the AI on that can be a bit finicky. You can charge into a room not being subtle about it, you're making a lot of noise, and for some reason all of them are just staring at a wall in the complete opposite direction. And while that might make a little bit more sense in a zombie situation because you would assume that zombies aren't going to be the most intelligent, I'm hopeful that they've made some improvements there. If they need to be hyper aggressive, if they need to try to flank you and catch you by surprise, I feel like at least the ones in T-Huns don't really stack up to that kind of AI, and so I'm really hopeful that that isn't going to be a limitation. One thing that is really exciting, though, is that they've made 3 unique maps for this specific mode. I think a lot of us just assumed that they were going to plop us down in existing maps like House and Canals, for example, and then just fill it with zombies and then call it good. Thankfully, that's not the case. They've built these things from the ground up. We're going to have 3 different locations to explore, and apparently they're going to be very different from our normal maps. Not only are they going to have a lot more open area, which kind of makes sense with the theme, but also they're going to be very linear and have a clear progression. Now, Ubisoft has reassured us that they aren't going to be super linear. Like, it's not just going to be one long hallway. We've grown to expect a certain amount of freedom in Rainbow Six Siege, especially with that destructibility, and so there are going to be different ways that you can get towards the end. That's the thing, though. It sounds like there is going to be an end. It's not going to be just entirely waved base. I think a lot of us just kind of assumed that waves and waves of enemies would charge on in, like COD Zombies, for example, but it sounds like from the description, there's going to be a beginning, you need to progress and get through a bunch of obstacles and get towards the end, and then I'm assuming that you win that specific match. To expand upon it, and the reason why I don't think it's necessarily going to be endless waves, they also state that you can approach it stealthily, you can try to flank through different corridors, or you can just go really loud and try to take everything out. If it was just endless waves and you're just trying to survive, it wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense to have that stealthy component. And so while this is just an assumption based off of the article, we don't know for 100% certain, while there might be an endless mode, maybe that's going to be one of the maps, it seems like a lot of them are going to have this clear progression where you start at the very beginning and then you have a lot of options to get towards the end. You may have to do certain tasks to get over those obstacles. You can either go loud or stealthy, but it is going to give you that freedom, which of course is one of the things that we love about Rainbow Six Siege. Another thing that Ubisoft let us in on are what operators we're going to be able to use. Sadly, we won't have every single operator at our disposal. It seems like they've designed it specifically with certain operators in mind, and so the ones that we're going to be able to use are the 2 new guys, which we now know are called Finka and Lion. We're going to be able to use Smoke, Ying, Buck, Capkin, Ash, Doc, Tachanka, Glaz, and of course, Recruits. Now, hopefully one thing that you notice with that list is that you're going to be able to play as both offensive and defensive operators on the same team, which is the first time this has ever happened. It also means that you're going to be able to develop certain strategies based off of how you want to approach these maps. You want to go in with the Doc for a little bit of healing capability, but also bring an Ash that can be more aggressive. You're going to have the ability to do that. It also seems, if you want to, you can approach this really methodically and tactically. Because Ying is in this list, I imagine the infected can be blinded, because why else would they allow Ying to be here if her gadget was completely useless? And so I'm imagining situations where you have a Ying, you identify with your drones maybe that are a bunch of infected in the other room, and instead of just charging in and hoping for the best, you have her throw in a Candela charge really quickly, blind every single one of them, and then take them all out that way. I don't know about you guys, but that sounds really exciting to me. All in all, though, my initial fears that this is just going to be something that Ubisoft has tacked on are pretty much gone at this point. Of course, we'll only really know when things go live, but it seems like Ubisoft has spent a lot of time and investment on this mode to make something special. Now, the real question I have for them, though, is that this event is only going to last for about 4 weeks, and then it's gone after that. If you're spending all this time and resources on something that's only going to be a timed event, is it really going to be worth it? Now, the only thing I can think of for why this might be the case are 3 different scenarios. One is that they want to make this unique, they want to make it special so that it attracts more people, because if you miss it now, you're never going to be able to play it again. The other thing I can think of is maybe they're going to put these events on a cycle, where for 4 weeks we get one event, and then maybe a couple months later we get another event, and then when the year, starts over again, we get this infected mode where maybe they expand upon it or they just bring it back. That's another possibility. The only other thing I can think of is there's something else here that we're just not getting. Maybe when we do something in game, it unlocks the mode for everyone, or it unlocks something much larger. I have absolutely no idea, but those are really the only 3 things I can think of for why they would announce this being a timed event. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about what we discussed today. Are you getting excited about this new infected mode? Are you still skeptical? Is this something that you never wanted in Rainbow Six Siege? Let me know down below in the comment section. But yeah, guys, until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.